Malcolm X, also known as Malcolm Little, was born on May 19, 1925. He was born to Earl and Louise Little, both followers of Marcus Garvey's teachings and also members of his Universal Negro Improvement Association. In 1929, the family moved from Nebraska to Michigan, but tragedy struck soon after. Their house was burned to the ground. Shortly after that, Earl Little would be killed in what was ruled a streetcar accident. None of his family believed it to be any accident, though. When Malcolm was 13, his mother was institutionalized and he and his siblings were split into foster care. While living in Michigan, Malcolm would tell a teacher he wanted to become a lawyer, but they told him to lower his expectations, so he dropped out. He would bounce around making fast money supporting himself any way he could, so his sister brought him to Boston. While there he would discover Harlem. In Harlem he became further involved in drug dealing and hustling, and eventually he was arrested and sentenced to 8 to 10 years in prison. While in prison, Malcolm would become pen pals with the leader of the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad. He would later decide to join the religious group. One of Muhammad's beliefs was the rejection of their last names because of the significance it gave to their former slave owners. This is where Malcolm took the last name X. Upon release, he would help expand a few temples starting with the number 1 temple in Detroit, then would help expand Boston's Temple number 7 and then Philadelphia's Temple number 12. After much success, he would become the minister of Temple number 7 in Harlem, one of the largest temples, if not the largest at the time. This is where his national presence really took off. In 1957, after a member of the Nation of Islam was brutalized by the NYPD, protests broke out outside the police precinct. Malcolm's ability to take charge of the situation, get the man treated, and calm the storm caught the attention of law enforcement. Of course, according to since-released documents, the FBI had already been surveilling him for 4 years. In 1958, Malcolm married Betty Dean Sanders, and by 1959 a documentary following the Nation of Islam, titled "The Hate That Hate Produced," was released. In it, Malcolm made some grand statements condemning peaceful protests and calling whites devils. The documentary also showed Malcolm's karate-trained bodyguards, the fruit of Islam, urging a more aggressive approach to black resistance against white supremacy. In the following decade, leaders of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Congress of Racial Equality, and the Black Panther Party would adopt Malcolm's militant stance. As his notoriety grew, cracks began to form in his relationship with Elijah Muhammad. In April 1962, a police raid on a Nation of Islam mosque in LA left war veteran Ronald Stokes dead and William X. Rogers paralyzed. No charges were ever brought against the officers involved. Malcolm took offense at Muhammad's refusal to pursue a response or retaliation. Going against Muhammad's strict orders, Malcolm commented on President John F. Kennedy's assassination, saying, "The chickens came home to roost." He was suspended from the Nation of Islam for 90 days and upon his return announced his departure. After leaving the Nation of Islam, Malcolm founded the Muslim Mosque Inc. and the Organization of Afro-American Unity. Still Muslim, he traveled through Africa and the Middle East, which would reframe his view on racism, seeing it more as a global black struggle. Returning in May 1964, he accused Elijah Muhammad of fathering illegitimate children and attempted to enlist help from the United Nations to investigate the U.S. for human rights violations. This made him a target for the FBI and the NOI. In February of 1965, a week after having his house blown up, Malcolm was assassinated in the Audubon Ballroom in Manhattan. 3 members of the NOI were charged. Malcolm X's transformation from a criminal to a civil rights activist is a symbol for his people. The legacy he left behind was motivation for generations to come, as what he stood for was something African Americans still fight for today. His progress did not come from comfort, and it definitely set a bar.
There's one thing that I want to make clear. No matter how much respect, no matter how much recognition whites show toward me, as far as I'm concerned, as long as that same respect and recognition is not shown toward every one of our people in this country, it doesn't exist for me.